Howdy folks, it's Lance90 here, and welcome back to Let's Play Major Minor, where we're finally with Sam. Oh my god. I did my waiting, 12 years of it in Azkaban. First thing I noticed is more cell doors. This is a modern prison when we're in a medieval area. First thing I noticed is more cell doors. It looks like we're in some sort of prison block. Could this really be Lord Player's residence? I noticed Sam isn't too far away, so I inched towards her. I mean, I would too. Took you long enough, not like our lives are on the line. She crosses her arms and taps her foot. Excuse me for not giving her my unconditional trust. There are some questions I'd like to have answered. I already told you, my name is Sam. Just stick by my side and you won't die. Being paid to keep you alive, remember? We can part ways when I deliver you. No, I don't want to part ways. Trust me, I'm not enjoying this either, but I couldn't turn down a bonus like that. That was one of my main questions, actually. Who was paying her to secure my safety? And should he end up rescuing Kaelin from these cells? Sorry, Kaelin was nowhere to be found. You mean you don't know who paid me? You must be more oblivious than I thought. Does the name Howdy ring a bell? He gave me quite the generous offer. Normally I'd refuse, but not this time. Got offers from other people as well. Indy and Conrad, their names were. They seemed quite popular on Terra Lance90. But money talks and they were too quiet. I had to take Howdy's offer in the end. I'm told that you two go back a little bit. So I guess Howdy went through with this attack. I guess it's easier to do it with a team, so I take this as confirmation that we're in Player's home. Yeah, he shouldn't be too far away. When we deliver you to him, I'm out of here. I'll be set for life after all this. She gestures broadly at the open cell doors. I have no idea why you held prisoners, but Howdy paid a bonus for their lives. It won't be long before they expose Player. After a few minutes of walking, we reach a large door. I can only assume that this is the exit. I should be just outside the store. Sadly, I can't get involved any further. I'll find a way out somewhere else. Trust me, we'll meet again. Please do. Maybe we can have more fun. Please. Sam runs off, brushing my shoulder on the way out. I'm left alone with a large door in front of me. Could I trust her? What if this was a trap? Look behind me and she's already gone. I guess I don't have any other option. Open the door and hope that Howdy awaits me. Like to save your game, yes. Even though we just did it. Don't think we made any choices there, so get back into it. Cellar. Immediately notice how large this cellar is. Player and Riley had a massive operation at play. It's wet and humid down here, not cared for. Take a few steps forward and scan the area. Didn't Sam say that Riley would be right here? I look everywhere, but I can't find him at all. Hey. Ugh. Just like in the cellar, he pops up behind me. It doesn't scare me as much, but my heart still pounds. I don't think he could have picked a worse time. Oh, I frightened you. I'm sorry. I'm trying to tread lightly in here. Looks behind me as if expecting someone. Was Killa back there by chance? He disappeared around the same time as you. I gulped before I break the news to Howdy. I let him know that Killa passed away last night. He was involved in a tragedy back on Earth. Let's see, it was most unfortunate. He was a very bright soul, you know. Hard to find that in this bleak world. Yeah, I was hoping he would appear here after he died, because it seems like this place is like the afterlife, maybe? Something like that. I better not tell him that it was my choosing. In fact, I should probably not tell anybody that. Wait a minute, back on Earth, I believe that he left Terra? I nod. That's impossible, Lance90. Our connection doesn't work that way. I swear that I'm telling him the truth. Before I woke up in the cell, I went back as well. It's a pretty tall tale, but it would explain the King's interest. There's more to you than I thought. Crosses his arms, losing himself in thought. Must have seemed Sam, right? Yeah. I hired her to help me out today. She was supposed to rescue any prisoners, but there were just so many I didn't know Claire was capable of this. His hatred truly knows no bounds. Sam saved me before she left the manor, yeah, and I should probably tell Howdy the truth. It isn't Lord Player behind this, it's Riley. At least he's been up to pulling the strings. Before I can, we hear a crashing noise. It sounds like it's coming from upstairs. Look to Howdy and ask what we should do. We need to investigate. I think Player already has Kaelin. Wasn't in any of the cells. Just like Sam mentioned, that worries me. We can do this, Lance90. Together we're going to expose the king. Hey, I was just about to say, are you going to give me a weapon? I need a weapon. I don't know what to do with it. I really hope he wasn't expecting me to fight. The art of swordplay has been lost on Earth. Sticking with the pointy end. Before I can say anything else, he runs off. I follow him to the best of my ability. It isn't long until we get upstairs. I'm baffled by how large this place really is. It's a stunning counterpoint to the Wayfarer's Inn, and for that matter, the society I saw before. Is this really what the upper class was like here? Calling imagine would be an understatement. It's a veritable labyrinth, a showcase of wealth. We turn corners until we arrive at a large atrium. I assume we're tracking down the noise we heard. Conrad. No, it's Indy. Indy. They immediately turned to us, drawing their weapons. Righty, hand over the savior. I don't want to fight you today. I'm afraid I can't do that. We're here to rescue Kalen after today Veloquez is exposed. Just won't give up, will you? There's nothing you need to expose. Indy draws his daggers and lunges towards Righty. Righty quickly leaps to the side and punches his gut. Indy stumbles forward, winded, a lucky hit. Stop being so blind. The king wanted Kalen in prison. If I don't save him, he'll die. Lord Player's a relentless killer. There's no way Kalen could escape. Righty draws his axe and holds it forward. Help me take down Player and rescue Kalen. If you don't, then you're our enemy. What do you mean our enemy? The savior is on our side, you know. And he takes on a frightening stance looking at me. Or a frightened stance. It's not true, Indy. Lance 09, you chose to side with me yesterday. It's only been a day, but we're at the conference place for like forever. Even he saw through Veloquez's facade. Batting lies as usual. He'll do anything to get your way, but not this time, Righty. Punches towards Righty once again, but this time I take action. I jump in the way and hold out my sword. Indy stops in his tracks, dangerously close. Now tell me it's true. He went through so much for you. I tell Indy that he's overthinking things. Saying with Righty was safer than rushing to the king. Had no idea what he wanted with me, and it was scary. Rescuing Kalen would reveal the king's intent. If the king was truly evil, I'd stay away, but if he wasn't, we could venture to him safely. Saving Kalen was like flipping a coin to me, better than rushing against the unfathomable odds. I came from another world, I couldn't be sure. I needed to know that Veloquez's true nature first. If situations were reversed, he'd do the same. Seems like a good enough explanation for him. He sees his daggers and assumes a neutral stance. Very well, I trust you, but we don't have time to rescue Kalen. Like hell you don't. Taking down Player is what you wanted. Helping me will accomplish that too. This is where I decided to tell them the truth. Lord Player wasn't behind all of this, it was Riley. He played the role as an advisor and controlled him. What? Are you serious? We saw the bloody legs. We know Lord Player attacked you. That's why we came here to begin with. Before I continue, we hear its noise upstairs. As if on cue, Riley enters the scene. Oh, jeez. I'm surprised you didn't see it, Indy. Worked with fake evidence all the time. Let's get things moving, shall we? I'm tired of your endless bickering. Turns around and grabs something from behind him. Or wait, he grabs someone from behind him. Indy and Righty immediately take a fighting stance. This must be Kalen. Can't put aside your differences, not when lives are on the line. Kalen squirms in his grip, clearly overpowered. Kelly doesn't look that strong, but he's overpowered me and Kalen. Kalen doesn't really look that strong either, though. But Righty holds him still and places a knife to his throat. You all think that you've won, but you couldn't be more wrong. Soon this entire building will burn. There won't be any proof left behind. I'll hunt down the prisoners you saved, just as I slit Kalen's throat. But not here, I have a plan. Come and chat with me and Lord Player. One last chance to resolve things. No matter what, there will be death. The outcome will decide our election. Today, the throne shall be secured. He backs out of the room, holding us hostage. I look at everyone beside me, not sure what to do. So it's true. He really is the one behind this. Both look at me. Thank you for telling us the truth. Yeah, otherwise we might have killed Player. Might still be a good idea, to be honest, but I don't know. I shrug and tell them it's not relevant anymore. No matter who's in charge, we have a decision to make. Should we go after Riley, or is it some kind of trap? They both cross their arms and ponder in unison. I notice that Conrad is staying out of this. Are they working together? I never thought I'd see that. They have to play the odds, Indy. What do you mean? We can follow after Riley. If we do, there's a chance Kalen will live. So if we assume it's a trap and leave, well, Kalen will die for sure. If I do this, will you hand me the savior? Is that how much Kalen means to you? Righty paused and then looked at me. It's odd how Indy didn't even ask my opinion. That's too much of me, Indy. Lance Elliott, you chose to come with me freely. Righty, you're making a mistake. The fate of Terra is at stake here. That's far more than the fate of Kalen. Please let the savior come with me. I'll both save Kalen and Terra. Saving Kalen is useless on its own. I will help you if you give me the savior, otherwise I'll take them by force. This will kill you both and Kalen. As he returns to a fighting stance, does that truly mean... Do I truly mean him to that much, him and Conrad? Yeah, do you know what I do for a living? I protect the lives of others. To that end, you have me in an impasse. If I fight you, you two would kill me. Then you'd take the savior away. This would lead Kalen to his doom. If I give you the savior, everyone has a chance to live. You should become a politician, you know? You're great at screwing people over, making them go against their values. Indy changes the subject, choosing not to respond. I feel like I'm just some sort of commodity now, but to be honest, anywhere is safer than here. So if saving everyone means leaving Righty, that's okay. Temporary alliance, then? Temporary alliance. They shake hands, but both parties seem hesitant, as if the physical contact between them is uncomfortable. Tried working together once, right? Let's hope it ends up better this time. So just like that, I'm back with Indy and Conrad. I can't say I'm surprised after all. The mission I decided with Righty 4 would be completed, Caitlin would be freed, and then no Veloquiz's intent. If his content was evil, Caitlin could testify. But if it wasn't, then I'd gladly help them. I feel like all the bases are finally covered. They start walking up the stairs, full of purpose. I turn to Conrad, who seems to still be processing this. So what, I'm the third wheel now? They could have picked a better time. He growls before he follows suit. Soon enough, we're all ascending the stairs. We reach the top, we notice the door is open. We all stare at each other, exchanging reassuring nods. At this moment, we were united, our goal was clear, and with that resolve, we venture forward. Yes, so I'd like to save the game. Still have a fair bit to go here. Central Hall. As soon as we enter the room, we separate. We all stand in the line facing towards Riley and Player, but it seems like they made a quick switch. Player now holds Caitlin hostage, and Riley Kabu. Examined their faces, noticing a disparity. Riley seems calm and collected, completely unfazed. The Player looks around in a panic, fidgeting awkwardly. Riley's leadership was now more apparent now than ever. Riley, what do you want? You're cornered and there's more of us. I want to secure the throne, Indy. That's all I've ever wanted. That's something you can never do. You need to give up before it's too late. Riley, we can negotiate for your life. Killing you and Player isn't our goal. We only ever wanted to end your campaign. Just give up and you can still live. I'm afraid it's too late for that. All of our prisoners are already freed. It won't be long before they start talking. After that, they'll want vengeance. Living in fear isn't living at all. You can never truly be safe from harm. But it is good to know you're not hiding. We're sick of pretending not to know. It's so obvious that you belong to the king. This works in your favor, Riley. We can have him make a public statement. He'll announce your innocence to everyone. He would gladly make a statement like that, especially if you surrendered your campaign. At that point, you'd be a free man. Notice that Player's calmed down by now. It seems like he likes what he's hearing. Riley, on the other hand, seems surprised. You really think you can do that? Of course, it'd be simple. But we want protection too, a place to stay, guarded at all times. Don't press your luck, Riley. It's you who shouldn't be pressing. He presses his blade up to the Cable's throat, threateningly. Fine, but you two have to stand down. That includes handing over Caitlin and Kabu. Player and Riley exchange glances before nodding. I have to do this my way, Indy. You can come get Kabu from me directly, slowly and with no sudden movements. After that, Conrad can get Caitlin. Then you'll escort us all to a safe place. I need to ensure that you're not lying. We'll be at the back of the group. No one can be behind us. I know the true nature of you two. Indy and Conrad exchange glances this time. Conrad looks worried, but Indy looks confident. It is complicated, but the smile will end peacefully. I doubt it. I'm gonna walk towards you now. I'll raise my arms so I can't attack. When I get there, you'll hand over Caitlin. Riley nods and Indy starts his walk. Riley looks on, unsure what to think, but if things went awry, I'm sure he'd attack. Slower, Indy. There's no need to move so fast. He obeys instantly, almost like a puppet. Riley watches in fright as the assassin approaches him. I can see Conrad grip his sword just in case. Gavin and Caitlin, everything will be okay. I promise this won't last much longer. Reassures the two hostages as he arrives. A few moments, he's face to face with Riley. Stay true to your word, Riley. I'm going to take Kabu and walk back. Of course, I wouldn't dream of accosting you. Press X to doubt. But before you go, can I say one thing? Make it quick. Oh no. Riley clears his throat before seeking. It echoes through the large hall. You have never trusted a politician. We're all dirty, especially King Veloquiz, or should I say my true employer. Dun dun dun. How many crosses are we up to now? Is this like a octacross? Indy looks shocked, unable to move. Did Riley just say Veloquiz was his boss? This must go deeper than any of us thought. Riley uses this momentary confusion to make his move. He runs his blade off Kabu's throat effortlessly. He squirms and falls to the ground in a puddle of blood. Riley, you bastard! He reaches for his daggers, but he's not fast enough. Riley punches the knife into his gut multiple times. Jesus Christ. After the final stab, he twists his knife around. Dot dot dot. Jeez. Indy falls to the ground, making the puddle larger. Riley stands there with a sadistic grin, laughing. Indy, no! Cameron lunges forward, but Riley intercepts him. He holds Conrad in place, stopping his attack. Dot dot dot. Player looks horrified, staring at Kabu's body, but his grip against Caitlin tightens. He's panicking. Riley walks over to his pawn, still laughing loudly. Do it, player. Kill Kalen. He's the biggest thorn on our side. If you do it, we'll be unstoppable. Player gulps audibly, his body shaking. Player, don't do this. Ready interjects, still holding Conrad tightly. It's not too late to become a free man. Riley's been using you all along. There isn't any real proof of your crimes, but if you kill Kalen, I can't help you. There'll be witnesses to your crime. Do the right thing here and surrender. I'm against Velasquez as well, right? You know, I'm not acting in a way that helps him. I want to help you and save Kalen. ... There, we've come too far to back out. Everything we worked for is on the line. I order you to kill Kalen right now. Claire looks at Riley and then back at Kabu's lifeless body. Press this knife harder against Kalen's throat. Any harder and you start to draw blood. Right about that, Riley. Everything is on the line right now. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me, Kalen. Don't do it. Closes his eyes before he uses the blade, almost like he can't attach himself to his actions. He adds a third victim to the floor and more blood. Kalen! Isn't Kalen's blood, it's Riley's. Exclamation point. Grabs his throat and squirms in pain. Player looks at what he's done, horrified. Kalen uses his opportunity to break free. He runs towards Riley, gaining his freedom. As he sees this, he releases his grip on Comrade. Indy immediately runs towards Indy's body, cradles him in his arms, shaking him softly. Isn't funny, Indy, wake up. Claire runs to Kabu's body and holds it close. With the violence gone, they cried over their losses. Riley, Kalen, and I stare in shock. I'm sorry, my son. Well, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast. But it isn't over yet. Before any of us can speak, we get visitors. Enter the room from the back as if they watched. Oh dear. So this is what the revolution looks like. Pathetic, wouldn't you agree, Nami? Yes, Nagi, I agree. They're hurt over such small losses. These men are nothing in the grand scheme. I'm thankful they became violent. It helped me test out my new little theory. Father's been deceitful yet again. Big surprise. Ooh. They stare at us all with sly smirks. Who are these people and why were they watching? The man, or Nagi, starts to walk towards me. So you're the man that Father wants. I have to say I'm surprised. I expected something different. Immediately hold out my sword. I've never used it before, so I mimic what I've seen. There's no way I could defend myself against them. Don't be so stupid, Savior. I just want to get a closer look. I back up in time with his steps. There's no way I want this guy to close to me. Riley steps forward and holds out his axe. He's leaving Kalen's defense to come to mine. Well, at least there's someone my size, but it's useless. You can't stop me. Riley takes this as a challenge and leaps forward, but I find it very hard to explain what happens next. As if she teleported, Nami blocks the way. She extends an arm and punches Riley right across the room. Hits the wall with a thud and falls to the floor. He's motionless, knocked out cold. That leaves me and Kalen alone in defenses. Thanks, my love. He was starting to get on my nerves. Continues walking towards me. I try backing up further, but I hit the wall. He grins at me, knowing I can't go anywhere. Do you have any idea what you are? Do you have any idea what's inside of you? Make contact with Kalen. I can tell he wants to help, but it's pointless. Anyone who can take out Riley is just too powerful. I give up and try to run, but it's useless. Now he appears by my side and pins me to the wall. I'm not pressing I need the adult button on that one. Now he holds out his sword as he approaches me. Father tried to trick us. The power that he wants isn't within Terra. For some reason, it's within you. Before I can even think, I'm skewered on his blade. He stabs it deep into the wall, pinning me in place. My body lights up in pain as I start to bleed out. He twists the blade inside me, intensifying the pain. The gear on the base of his sword starts to turn. I can feel myself become weaker. I'm dying. It's like we won the race, Nami. I didn't think it would be that easy. Anything to say before I unleash this? Here's to the future we create. Yes, to the future we create. Plunges the blade deeper and the gear spins faster. I feel like it's draining me of my very essence. Give me such terrifying grins that I have to look away. A moment later, my vision fades into nothingness. The last thing I hear is Play and Conrad's cries. They weep over the family they'll never see again. For on that day, they became only memories. Save the game, because I'm out of time. Oh. Several months prior, bruh. I smile as I run down the halls of the local mall. Every day that passes, my odds get even better. The pop star contest had become a worldwide phenomenon. Stocks rose and stores sold out everywhere. Everyone everywhere wanted to win. Tried not to drink too much, but it was addicting. Not only the caffeine, but the prize that awaited. Everyone wanted to live a life of luxury like that. We all had worries, we just wanted to melt away. There's so many stores I could choose from, but the local joint that I liked, stick to, it didn't get very much business, and I thought that would help. I suppose something like a gambler's hope. Less used machine will pay out more, right? That's what I used to tell myself every single day. Nobody had one yet, but cans are still in the wild. Turn a few corners and up at my favorite store. The clerk greets me as usual and I walk inside. I notice a new addition. They have TVs on the wall. Some sort of news report about the contest was airing. Can't really go a minute without hearing of it. It's not often the whole world unites like this. Ooh, on Tarnation. It's Doki Doki Literature Club time, I guess. Walked a little deeper into the store. For some reason, they kept that cooler in the back. It was to tempt me with other choices first. Ooh. Wonder who I'd meet if I won. I'm sure other people running the tour would be awesome. At least I hope that was the case. Some people can be all business and no pleasure. Ooh, it's rough. But I'm sure Clace would be great at least. You can all hear all kinds of things on the news. He was young and had a long career ahead of himself. Ooh. Let's not forget about the people behind the scenes. There were those involved that no one even knew about. Not everybody liked the limelight after all. Ooh, it's Jade. Slight pain starts radiating in my head. I hate headaches. I've been getting them a lot lately. I do my best to push it aside as I arrive in the cooler. When I get there, I notice they're sold out. Did somebody come and buy out their supply? No? I quickly turn around and walk back to the clerk. It's extremely unusual that this place would sell out. I decide to talk to them and ask what's going on. The clerk shrugs and says they have lots. He tells me I must have overlooked them. That's weird. I'm not the type to do that. The headache gets more intense and I stumble. I press myself against the counter for support. The clerk asks if I'm okay and I signal that I'm fine. Look at the TV once again. The report has changed. Now they're talking about murders or something. It's a shame, but that's the kind of world we live in. Maybe they're using the contest to mask our flaws. Decided to give it a shot and check the cooler again. I'm not expecting anything, so I have nothing to lose. Before I can get there, the pain returns. I take a moment to brace myself holding onto a shelf. It gets worse despite all my coping techniques. I try to call out for help, but no one comes to my aid. Macaron. Just like that, my body gives up. My hand slips from the shelf and I fall to the ground. It crashes harshly against the linoleum floor. I expect to be knocked out, but that's not what happens. Like the fall flipped a switch in my mind. At that moment, I remember everything. Ooh. Oh, damn. Immediately I rise to my feet and clutch my chest. I fully expect the blade to be stabbed through my body. I pant heavily before realizing I'm fine. I still rest against the shelf, utterly confused. Why was I here before I won the contest? Who were those people that attacked us? What happened to everybody in that ballroom? How could I get back to help them? I'd have to win the contest, wouldn't I? But the store all sold out. I could have sworn this is where I won. After that thought, one last memory returns to me. Check my pocket, and sure enough, there it is. The replica can that Singe gave to me in our meeting. Gulp audibly and look back in the clerk's direction. For all intents and purposes, this was a winning can. Didn't really have a choice. I'd have to use this. It's the only way I could get back and try again. Perhaps this time things would be different. Walk back and laugh, telling the clerk he was right. He rings through the purchase, and I pay him promptly. I leave the store certain of one single fact. This was how I won my place on the Places World Tour. Chapter 8, The Lives We Live. Did I get a save point? Is my voice? Help me, my voice is very sick. I'm jolted awake and I cry out for help. I quickly realize this was an overreaction. I pant heavily and my body uncontrollably shivers. I'm covered in a layer of sweat that feels like ice. Background. Hey, it's okay. You're safe now. Take this. It should help you out. It's dangerous to go alone. Here, take this. He must have noticed my shivering. Places a blanket on my shoulders. I wrap it around my body tightly and look up at him. I ask him what just happened, where we were. You were thrashing about in your sleep. You passed out after the bombing incident. I wasn't sure how long you'd be out. As you can see, we left the building. We're in an underground bunker now. You can rest easy. We're safe. He's done it? He takes a deep breath as if it's finally all over. He leans back in his chair, giving me a slight smile. So I was thrashing about in my sleep? Was that the whole thing just a dream then? Lots to talk about, you know. So much has happened all so fast. Lift my body around and rest my feet on the floor. The whole place smells stiff and uncared for. Almost like the prison back at Player's house. The instant ballroom play back in my mind. Conrad lost Indy, Player lost Kabu. I'm not sure Player cared about Kabu. I wish there was something I could have done. Acheron must sense the sorrow in my face. He places a paw on my shoulder and comforts me. It's okay, I know what you're feeling. You're more alike than you think. I laugh softly, instantly downing him. I don't think he has the same weight on his shoulders. And he does. Life is full of hardships like this, but one thing is the same no matter what. We all have regrets when we overcome them. Mine would be my lack of honesty towards you and everyone here, but at the same time it was necessary. Lack of honesty? What does he mean by that? I don't even know where to start, but please let me finish my story. It's important that you know everything. I believe that you've met Ryu before, and I believe that you've been to the Ark. There are a couple of things we have in common. Those were the last things I expected him to say. I stared at him in sheer confusion, speechless. Perhaps this story was deeper than I thought. He granted me a portion of his power, the ability to slow or stop time's flow, and with that he gave me an objective. I was supposed to protect all of you, everyone inside the convention center. It seemed like an easy enough task, right? But he gave me some opposition, someone bent on killing all of you. Maxine Armstrong. Yeah, I'm sure you figured it out. She was the arms heiress visiting Japan, or should I say my sister. My true name is Acheron Armstrong, youngest in the Armstrong family line, but I've long since abandoned that name. Continues unleashing revelations. More of the puzzle pieces fall into place. Things are more connected than I ever could have guessed. Ryu pitted sibling against sibling, one to protect and one to kill. The forces of life and death in our hands. Turned into some sort of contest. If any were left standing, I would win. If everyone died, Max was the victor. The prize was the Ark itself. We get to rule as an immortal being. Life and death would cater to our whims. So this was a game to Max. If she won, she could undo the deaths, that, and bring back our sister. I remember Ryu telling me about this. He said that he wanted a worthy successor, but he never mentioned Acheron to me at all. I was under the assumption it was only Max. Hope that things are making more sense. That was the true nature of what happened, the truth behind the convention center. So all this was just a battle to rule over Ark, and we all got caught up in it because of my role. Ryu said he had to watch me as well as the contest, but why would Ryu want to leave the Ark? He said he was bored and lonely, but that can't be it. There has to be more to the story than we know. Either way, the battle is over. Max can't get to any of you down here. In a few hours, I will rule the Ark. Let's out a soft grin. Max relied far too much on her power. I've only ever used it twice myself. Once to plant my resume in Jade's office, and the second time for the evacuation. Max was extremely eager to compete with me. She took care of the previous guard. I needed to enter the tour naturally. But after that, it was child's play. I know how she works better than anyone. Pushing her buttons was incredibly easy. I asked him why he so sure of his victory. If Max had the power, there was still a chance. No, there's no chance. We were playing her right from the start. She fell into our trap too easily. Our trap? What do you mean by that? I was only open with one other person. It was Singe. He knows everything. I even told him about the Ark and our powers. We formulated a plan together. He's a genius, to say the least. That and a very talented actor. Singe is involved now, too. I feel like after this, I won't have any questions. Max planned all along to involve weapons. It was very easy for us to exploit this. Initially, Singe fought back against her. We needed Max to feel like she had power. It made it more believable when he caved. At that point, she was getting cocky. Her staff loaded the building with weapons. Everything was going her way. She went on to kill Clace, then she took care of the previous guard. That's when I entered the scene. Contests would have lasted for one whole day. Midnight tonight will be the battle's end. It was important that we remain passive. Singe started to play a frightened role. No sudden movements, he'd say. We need Max to believe she was winning. That's why accept me away from me before continuing. That's why we let Rocker and Killa die. It needs to look like I was failing. This made Max even more confident. Tensions rose in the convention center, tensions that made me seem inadequate. People were fighting amongst themselves. They wanted to leave, but they couldn't. Singe was still playing his part. Max was clearly winning. It was obvious. So it was my turn to act. I pretended that my resolve was wavering, that these people were dying on my watch. How could I ever guard anyone again? Done quite the show for all of you. Even acted at the press conference too. I feel bad about that outburst, but it was important to showcase doubt. Max had what she wanted. Singe was completely in her pockets. Her brother wasn't able to outsmart her. Everyone was still in one place. It would be so easy for her to win. That's when I decided to meet up with her. It's all going according to plan. She actually suggested that we team up. She said we could kill the rest together, but she didn't know I was recording. I got her to admit she was the killer, but she thought she was just converting me. That is extremely smart. Actually, it's almost unbelievable. One part irks me about all of this, and plays they willingly sacrifice lives. I'm not proud of what we did either, but it was either them or all of us. I'm sure you know that feeling as well. Either way, we worked it out with the police. The bomb going off was their signal. Instead of coming in, they set a perimeter. I did agree to work with Max. She believed that she had my allegiance, but I made use of the recording immediately. I gave it to both the media and the police. Maxine Armstrong is completely ruined. Receiving the recording was their signal. After that, they'd attack the building. Everyone except for her would be gone. The whole plan assumed a lot, of course. First, that she would use her weapons. Second, that she would confess to me. I know how she works after all. It was certain it would unfold this way. That's why I made them tactical signals. Trust me, she's not winning. If they didn't catch her, she's on the run, and she'll lose control of the company as well. Pick the exact time to evacuate. She'd be caught up in saving her own life. There's no way she knows where we are. I believe that's what you call checkmate. It's crazy to say the least, but if anyone can do it, it was them, and the fact that we're here confirms it. The strategy involved was unfathomable to me. I was just an unlucky soul caught in the middle. I don't know what your role really is. In fact, I don't know if Rayo does, but he'll be coming here shortly anyway. He has to take me to the Ark, or I should say to my new home. Perhaps he'll have some answers then. This kind of seems too good to be true. I suggest taking a walk around. Everyone is here except for Daz and Singe, so resting in a separate bunker. I want to go meet Daz, though. I still thought it would be wise to do this. If Max found one of the bunkers, she still wouldn't be able to win. But for the first time, you're safe. I enjoyed this evening with everybody. Your duty as savior may come soon as well. I nodded and returned to my feet. He was right. Things were coming to a close. I slowly walked towards the exit of the room, but before I can leave, Acheron calls to me. I quickly turned back to look at him. Bond with Acheron was strong enough. Wait, can I keep you for one more minute? There's something that's been on my mind. Take a few steps back and towards him. I'm all ears, and ask him what he wants to say. Well, it's about the Armstrong name. Why I ran away, why I left it behind. It's more related than you may think. Press my back against the wall and listen. I guess he assumes there's no holding back. He's about to leave for the Ark. He should talk. Let's see, where should I start? Armstrong was ruined by my parents. Run by my parents. That is until about 5 years ago. They're working on a new chemical weapon, but it's too much to do on their own. They had to acquire new investors and fast. The company pockets only went so deep, so they scoured through the globe for partners. It didn't take long to get what they needed. They held a meeting for the investors. A chance to show off what they had made, potentially get more money too. But it wasn't so simple. Chemicals can be very volatile. Sure that you can guess what happened. The weapons went off by accident. Luckily, I was watching from outside. Well, I guess lucky is a relative term. I watched my parents die an agonizing death. They clawed at the glass, begging for help. There was nothing I could do. Max was beside me as well, shocked. Her older sister had her eyes covered. After this, the family was in disarray. Our older sister was thrust into leadership, but she wasn't trained. None of us were. The whole world had its eyes on us. Some important people died that day. We tried our best to cover it all up. You can't cover up memories. These events affected families everywhere. We weren't the only ones who lost people. It took a while, but we recovered. Business was good, and we traveled lots. Eventually, we'd end up in Africa. A dignitary wanted our services. Some local warlords had threatened him, so the Armstrong siblings went for a visit. Requested our latest weaponry. The chemical weapons were put on hold. We had to bring some explosives. He was very nice to all of us. He gave us a tour of his massive estate, and then he wanted us to meet his son. I was more than ecstatic to meet him. It's always nice to make strong connections, but the room he took us to was empty. He started crying as he told us the truth. His son had moved to America a while back. He made fortunes investing in companies. One of those companies was Armstrong. He broke down and kept asking us why. Why did we take his son away from him? None of us knew what to say. The next thing I knew, we were passing out. He must have drugged the meal he gave us. I've never guessed he had a past like this. He always seemed so calm and collected. I asked him what happened next, especially how it relates to our current events. Well, we were separated when we woke up. I was tied to a chair and he was there. My older sister was tied to a chair too, but she was in a room farther away. This is where it gets familiar. We both had bombs strapped to us. He left the room and told Max to choose. Would she save her brother or his sister? I begged her to let her sister live. She was the head of the company, after all. I was nothing and didn't matter. The man wanted us to experience his pain, but Max told him that we already did. We lost our whole family in that incident. Fortunately, he was too far gone. What he wanted was revenge, and we were the only remaining Armstrongs. Kind of ironic, isn't it? He used the same weapons we brought. We provided him with the weapons to do this. I begged and pleaded for my death. It seemed like Max's choice was obvious, but for some reason she wouldn't do it. She let her older sister die. I still remember hearing the bomb, heard the moment when her life was ended. The man came in to free me. As soon as he did, I attacked him. I wanted to kill him, I really did. But he was armed and he was stronger. That's how I got the scar on my face. That a scar? I don't know if that was actually a scar or a mark on his character, but he marked me with a knife so I'd remember. He was never heard from again after that. Max and I ran back to America and promptly inherited the entire company. A little convenient, wouldn't you say? I think that's what she wanted all along. She took the opportunity to off our sister, that way she'd get to run the company. But then, did she kill her parents too? Was she responsible for the accident? If she was, she finally got what she wanted. At that point, I decided to run away, but she told me one final thing. One day you'll know what it felt like. She swore that she caved under pressure. It had nothing to do with the inheritance, her body just went on autopilot. But I want to never know for sure, at least that's what I thought. Can I get a save point, please? I didn't see her again until this ordeal, and of course, what does she do? She sets up those bombs and makes me watch. I saw a look on your face, a look of fear and indecision. How could you choose between Killa and Rook? It'd be even harder if it were family. I think she wanted to send that messages. She wanted to see what it looked like. It's not a pretty sight at all, but it did nothing to prove her innocence. It's not above killing to inherit. That's what she's doing now for the Ark. To that end, the message loses validity. And I was still left with a scar. I remember every time I look at myself. My sister's death and Max's betrayal. I thought you deserved to know. I thought there was a reason you had to choose, and it was only to prove a point to me. I'm sorry you had to experience that, but Maxine Armstrong is insane. She killed to take over the company. She killed out a chance for the Ark. There's nothing she won't do. Now, I don't know why Singray agreed to help, but Armstrong is a heartless company. I wouldn't be surprised if he was a victim. But I'll give you one piece of advice. If you ever see her again, run away. Doing that made my life all the better. He crosses his arms as if he's done talking. I notice a slight glisten in his eyes. Don't need to give me a reaction. It's just something I wanted you to know. You can leave the room as you see fit. I nodded. I'm unsure of what to say. I'm satisfied that I'm learning so many things, but crushed at the sorrow he must have felt. One of the first things I'm going to do, I'm going to bring back my sister. She'll make this world a better place. I'm very sorry for lying to you. I hope that you can learn to forgive me. As I said, a lack of honesty is my regret. But this whole thing was a setup. I couldn't risk the operation. This time I was forced to lie. I never would have done it otherwise. He smiles at me with nothing else left to hide. He returns to his chair, ending the conversation. It's true, he could bring her back if he won. I suppose he could do the same for all the others. It'd take a while to process all this information, but at least one of my biggest questions were answered. I leave the room with a sense of satisfaction. Yes, please save the game. It was great to learn all that stuff, but my voice, it's very sick. Anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you did, remember hit the like button, keep the conversation going in the comments, and subscribe if you want to see more. Until next time, hope you have a good day.